Shalom, slicha. Shalom, Soraim Tovim. This is going to be a case study on cannabis-induced psychosis that was missed by the mainstream American public because we are so intellectually corrupted and morally corrupted, despite the fact that it was broadcasted all over the internet and mainstream media outlets. Everyone will know the name Hatchet Kai. Just gonna Google Hatchet Kai timeline. Sorry if the dog gets in the way, but I just made some hot dogs. A dog update. He's doing better and worse. But he's still kicking, so yeah. Caleb Lawrence McGilvery. There you go. Dooba-dooba-doo. Dooba-dooba-doo. Oh, they're making a Netflix special. How fucking corrupt are we? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. When was that video? Fresno incident, 2013. Okay, so timeline analysis. Here we have, in 2013, the Fresno incident. Now, all of you will remember this. Hatchet Kai was picked up hitchhiking by a pedophile, and Hatchet Kai killed him with an axe, with a hatchet, which was a good thing because he saved the lives of a bunch of kids that the guy was going to kill. Like other people heard the guy saying it, blah, 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 blah. Crashed his car into a parked utility truck, pinning a worker between his front bumper and the rear of the truck. Yeah. 8 million views, etc. Right. Well, you guys know the incident. If not, you can look it up. So, this Fresno incident, there were so many clear markers that Hatchet Kai was in cannabis-induced psychosis. Including, but not limited to, homelessness. Oh, spell it wrong. I don't know. Homicide. Mania, which you could see in the interview with his word salad. And so on. There were so many signs that he was in cannabis-induced psychosis. Yet, nobody bothered to even mention the fact that he clearly had some severe mental illness and get him a diagnosis or treatment. Now, this really interests me because a lot of I assume they're probably feds or Mossads or deep staters or whatever you want to call them who pretend to be white supremacists on the internet, but they could authentically be white supremacists on the internet. Will make this statement that it's a genetic inferiority, that my life and many other lives are destroyed by cannabis because we're genetically inferior. And it's white people can just handle their drugs better because of genetic superiority, right? But if you Google things like cannabis-induced psychosis homicide or just cannabis homicide, there is a lot of white people who not only have committed suicide, but homicide because of cannabis, caused by cannabis. The cannabis caused the homicide. A lot of them. Along with a bunch of other adverse events. So, because Hatchet Kai did not receive a diagnosis and treatment for his mental illness, he ended up murdering a man in, I think it was New Jersey, it might have been New York City, just one sec. Fresno incident, murder conviction. The same year. Wow, 2013. So, this was February 2013. And then over here, we have May 16th. So May 2016. Joseph Galfley. Murdered Joseph Galfley. Now here we have the exact same observational positive symptom presentation of cannabis-induced psychosis. Hatchet Kai was homeless, committed homicide in mania and or psychosis. Cannabis-induced. So, between these two events, he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. That is how corrupt our society is. This man was clearly suffering from cannabis-induced psychosis. He clearly needed help for his mental illness. Instead of acknowledging that, he was on the Jimmy fucking Kimmel show. You know what would have prevented the second incident? Diagnosis of his mental illness and treatment from the first incident. Now, this is really interesting as well, because this is a huge thing in the United States that most people never talk about. A lot of older homosexuals prey on mentally ill homeless young men with cannabis. So it's like, oh, you need a place to stay, you want to smoke some weed, and because you can tie homelessness to a genetic inferiority, which you can tie to susceptibility to psychological malleability, especially with cannabis-induced psychosis, right? It makes the mind moldable. This could be a this is most likely a perfect example of environmentally induced homosexuality. Hatchet Kai was not a homosexual, yet he had homosexual sex because of cannabis. I doubt any of you will argue against any of this because this is objectively true. If the data I'm reading on my smartphone is accurate, which by all accounts it should be. Murder conviction. Hatchet Kai, or Mr. McGilvery, was arrested on murder charges on May 16, 2013 for the death of New Jersey attorney Joseph Galfley. According to Hatchet Kai, Galfley offered him a place to stay for the night, only to drug and rape him. Hatchet Kai maintained that he fought with Galfley in self-defense. Police said the sexual encounter was consensual, and the murder premeditated. McGilvery contended that after the viral video in California, he had no need to have sex with men like Galfley, whom McGilvery described as unattractive, stating, quote, "Do you know how many hot chicks? Never mind. Even if I was gay, do you know how many hot guys wanted to fuck me after that shit in California? I'm not even being vain. It's just a fact. Like, no offense, but he was not a looker." In July 2013, McGilvery was hospitalized after suffering from self-inflicted wounds while awaiting trial at Union County Jail in New Jersey. Rashnia. July 2016. Suicide attempt or self-harm. Now, all of this reflects psychosis. That, for those who might say it's not the cannabis, clearly the cannabis didn't prevent it. The cannabis caused it for the honest ones who watch this video. There's no need to say that, but apparently the greed bankers who are pushing the marijuanas on us peasants. They don't care about the truth, they only care about profit. Their moral guiding star is money. After the murder charges, video views increased substantially, broadening its viral reach. They raised a legal fund. He was in prison for over 5 years while awaiting trial, which began in 2019. He took the stand in his own defense and was combative during cross-examination. He had outbursts during his defense lawyer's arguments, nearly leading to his expulsion from the courtroom. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 57 years in prison. He is to serve 85% of that term, roughly 43 and a half years, after accounting for the 5 years of pretrial confinement before the possibility of the parole. Oh, and the judge even said, when you're eligible for parole, you'll still be younger than your murder victim when you murdered him. Galfley was 73 at the time of death. McGilvery appealed the conviction, alleging 15 instances of misconduct, abuse of discretion, and ineffectiveness of defense counsel, but the murder conviction was upheld by the New Jersey Appellate Court in 2021. In January 23, Netflix released a documentary. Now, I guarantee that Netflix's documentary, because it's propaganda, doesn't mention the cannabis-induced psychosis as a causal component, if not the primary component, to these events. I propose that with mental illness diagnosis and treatment, he should have been forced, against his will and without his consent, to quit cannabis. And this would have had a significant effect on preventing this and this. It's insane to me how corrupt we've become, that I'm the only one I'm aware of who even acknowledges this, let alone makes a video about it. You would think that the Democrats, the Republicans, the Christians, you name it, the secularists, would want to apply critical thinking to identify cause and effect relationships to prevent more incidents like this and this. I bet even this, the man Hatchet Kai murdered likely was smoking marijuana, or had smoked marijuana, recently before the incident. Unfortunately, because the evil and corrupt nature of our government, society, etc., that data will never be publicly available to me, is my assumption. I could be wrong, but you know what? Let's find out. Just going to Google a toxicology report of the victim. What was the guy's name there? McBride. Whoa. Yeah, he also picked a Jewish name as one of his things. Jet Simmons McBride. Toxicology. Oop. Sorry. Jet Simmons McBride, toxicology. Nothing. A cinemaholic? What? And there's a murder victim. Now, I guarantee that Hatchet Kai wasn't the first young homeless man, young psychotic homeless man, because of cannabis making him psychotic and homeless, who Galfly preyed upon. But because the guiding star of the moral compass of society is money, not morality, they're depicting this sexual predator as a victim because he made a lot of money, he was a big lawyer in New Jersey. Yeah. that dude, all these things, all these incidents very similar to this, which happen every year that you will probably never hear or read about on Google or any sort of Microsoft or Meta company, etc. All can be reduced and eliminated with the recriminalization of cannabis in these areas and the aggressive enforcement of the drug laws. Guarantee you, the data is being manipulated. The statistics are being manipulated. This is a documented fact. Many jurisdictions have been busted manipulating data statistics. Look it up. I read about it in school with the criminal justice reformation of our laws, sort of a thing. These are increasing, these type of incidents with cannabis. Why isn't Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any of these pro-marijuana advocates, pushers, etc. being held accountable for these incidents they are causing with their cannabis pushing industry? Corruption.